Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Leilani and today's video is going to be a chit chat get ready with me, and I just want to preface this by saying that I'm going to get pretty political in this video, way more political than honestly I felt like I ever would get on my channel. But I feel like since I'm an opinionated person, I just want to put my feelings out there, like why not? I have a channel and I've already talked about how I feel on Instagram and on Twitter and everything like that. Why not talk about it on YouTube and just kind of put my perspective out there? These are just my opinions. These are just my viewpoints. You obviously do not have to agree with what I'm saying, but what I would ask is that you listen to what I'm saying. I know that people already have their own opinions, so once they hear anything that differs from it, they kind of just dismiss the whole argument. But I would just ask to kind of just hear me out, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But before I do get into this video, please go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up if you do enjoy it. Go ahead and comment down below what you think of anything that I said here or just my makeup look in general. And go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I post every single Wednesday and every single Friday. So yeah, without further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into this video. So I'm just gonna start off with eyeshadow. And do my face how I normally do my face. I'm priming my eyes with my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. And actually, I'm going to be using some new products in this video that I got on Saturday. I actually filmed this video already, but I didn't like how it turned out. In the previous filming of this video, these products that are new, they were like super like brand new, and that was my first time using them. So this is my second time using these products now. And yeah. So on Saturday, I actually went to a master class that Urban Decay was putting on at my local Ulta, and I learned like some like tips and stuff from them and everything, and it was really cool. And I got these new products because I was like at Ulta, so I was like, why not get some new products? And so I did. So I'm gonna be using the first product that I got, which is this Makeup Revolution Vitality palette. And the only reason why I got this is because it was $3.49. I got this palette for $3.49. It was the last one, and I was like, if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it later. So I got it, and I actually like it. I think it has some nice shades in here. It's more, I really don't like neutral palettes, but it does have pinks in here, and these shimmers are really nice, and I thought I might as well just have a neutral palette. It's never a bad thing to have a neutral palette. I love color. But yeah, this is a pretty nice palette and pretty easy to use. Nice palette. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. I'm gonna take this shade right here and put it in my crease while I talk about this first issue. This is a really sad thing that happened. Obviously, I want to talk about the Christchurch massacre at the Muslim mosque. It happened on Friday, I believe. More like Thursday for us, I think. But it was absolutely horrific. 50 people have died because this one man decided to go to a mosque and kill and murder 50 totally innocent people. I think everyone watching this video, unless you're like Satan himself, can agree that this was absolutely horrific. And it was so insane to me because I feel like as an American, we become a little desensitized to mass murders, and we have become sort of desensitized to the idea that someone could go into a place and just start killing random people, because it's happened so many times, so many new, like crazy amount of times in the United States. That it happens at schools, it happens at churches, it happens, on the Las Vegas Strip, it just happens everywhere. And so I think that for Americans, they're all going to be very tragic, and they're all horrible events, and but I think that we've become kind of used to it in this weird, twisted way because it happens so much in America. With that being said, it was shocking to me to learn that it happened in New Zealand. You know, first of all, this kind of stuff really doesn't happen overseas. I mean, it does. It does happen overseas, but it happens much more in America. A lot more in America. So whenever I hear about this kind of stuff happening overseas, I'm a little like, what? You know, like, I thought this was like an American thing. Seriously, you think it's an American thing, but it's not. It's not. Apparently, there was actually just a mass shooting in the Netherlands. Not as big. There were 3 people that were killed. I think 9 that were wounded. Still tragic, still horrible. But you know, you think as an American, and what everyone says about America, which is true, you know, like we need to get our gun laws together. I feel we need to get our gun laws together. It's hard to straddle that fence of wanting to protect the general public and also wanting to keep that Second Amendment right, because I do feel like the Second Amendment should, you know, it should still be an amendment. I think that we should still have the right to bear arms, but I do believe that there needs to be some type of, it's hard because you don't really know what the answer is for gun control. You don't really know. In New Zealand, they just totally banned the rifle that this man used to kill all of these people, and that's one way to go about it, but I don't think that would work in America. So yeah, that happened, and the New Zealand press didn't want to show his face. I guess they said something about like they want to focus on the victims instead of focusing on the person that did this horrible thing, which I totally understand. Honestly, I think that a lot of times America focuses too much on the shooter and not as much on the victims. So for them to kind of blur out the shooter's face in New Zealand is like kind of just the total opposite of what America is doing, what America usually does. And I think that there should be a happy medium. I think that we should definitely shame this man. And I think that knowing what he looks like then will cause, maybe if he's in a group or, you know, he's attached to a group, that will cause others to then be caught and be convicted somehow, some way for being involved in this, which they're probably doing. But I just think that the public, I think that it's just like a totally opposite response. I don't think that either, to me, is what I would ideally want in the media. Anyways, we know what the shooter looks like. We know his name. I don't know his, like, the press has released his name. I don't know what his name is. I don't really, you know, I haven't seen it much. I think I heard it once, but I forgot what his name is. But from his Facebook posts, apparently, it's quite obvious that he is a white supremacist. And he went into this mosque, I guess because he hates Muslims, and he hates, a lot of those people were immigrants. A lot of those people were from the Middle East, and they weren't necessarily from New Zealand, you know, and he just decided to be Satan for the day and murder all of these people. I'm gonna use this shade. This is where I sort of become a little annoyed with Western society in general, because although this did happen in New Zealand and it did not happen in America, you can kind of see a trend in Western society. The first trend is that they're not calling this man a terrorist, which is exactly what he is. Anyone who commits a mass shooting is a terrorist. Anybody, no matter what their race, no matter what their religious beliefs. And honestly, in my opinion, I don't think that you can be a religious person. I do not believe that you can truly believe in God, or truly believe in almost any religion other than like Satanism or something, and then commit these murders. So I don't even believe that these people are actually religious. And also the media has, you know, had these headlines. How did this poor little boy become a mass murderer? The amount of sympathy that we're showing this man for being bullied, and everyone has a story. I tell my friend this all the time. I always tell her, everybody has a story. Everybody has something traumatic that has happened to them. It does not ever excuse something wrong that they did. I don't care. Everybody in the world, everybody has had something bad happen to them. Does that mean that they can go and kill 50 people in a mosque? Never. And so I don't, the bullying that he received, I don't care. I completely don't care. I don't feel bad for him. It's just like, what does it matter that he got bullied? What does it matter? They're showing too much sympathy to this man, and it's clear that it's racial. It's clear that they're racially biased. It's clear that they don't actually care about the Muslim community. That is clear, and it's disgusting. I'm gonna go ahead and use this sample just to use it for some odd reason. I don't know why I want to use it now, but I do. The sample primer from Too Faced. The next thing, and the thing that bothers me most, is that now I'm gonna speak from an American's perspective, and I'm going to speak from a Black person's perspective, because that's the perspective that I have. In America, these mass murders happen a lot. Way too much, way too frequently. And oftentimes, the shooter is Caucasian or white passing. And oftentimes, the shooter gets taken into custody peacefully and gets their day in court. This is what happens in America, mind you. I can't really speak for New Zealand because I don't know, you know, this doesn't happen for them, but in America, this is what happens. And honestly, I kind of lump most of Western society together because honestly, they all come from the same place. They all have the same background. They all have the same racist background. We know. We're not blind. We're not dumb. I'm gonna go ahead and use my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. So that's usually the routine in America. But you know what also is something that happens very frequently in America, way too frequently? Unarmed Black men getting killed by the police. Apparently while they're, you know, doing some criminal activity. Now let's take Stephon Clark for example, because I think that his case is more prevalent to me, considering the fact that he's from Sacramento, and you know, a lot of these protests are happening in my city, and you know, all of that. So Stephon Clark, apparently he was burglarizing a house, and he wasn't stopping for police, and he ran away from police, or the police like thought he had a gun, and then they shot him and killed him. They shot him 20 times, mind you. First of all, this man was unarmed. He was not actually committing a violent crime. He hadn't hurt anybody. And he was shot running away from police, right? Yet these men who kill 50 people get their day in court. It's clear that they have some racial bias towards these men. It's like these men, you know, even though this man killed 50 people, we know he did it. We don't need a trial. We know he did it. He's throwing up white supremacist symbols in court. We know he did it. He has no guilt, no remorse. You know, it's clear, yet their rights still stand. Their rights still need to be upheld. We still need to go through the judicial process, which I guess I understand, sort of. But when you see people who didn't get to go through the judicial process, who just got killed, who just got murdered, and then nothing happened to their murderers, that you can clearly see how warped Western society is, and how Western society They only care about white people. If I'm just going to be completely honest, I don't see how they care about all of these innocent lives taken. You can just see how they just don't care about those lives. I'm going to use my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define concealer. Dylan Roof went into a church and went into a black church and murdered these black people. We know he did it. There is no denying that he did it. I don't think that he even denies that he did it. No one's denying this. And yet the police just took him in. They actually gave him McDonald's when, you know, he asked for not McDonald's, he asked for Burger King, so they gave him Burger King. It's clear they don't care. They don't care. They will justify killing someone in his car in front of his daughter and in front of his fiance after he said to the officers, I just want to let you know I have a gun, and then they murder him. But they don't murder Dylan Roof on sight. No one would be upset at them for murdering Dylan Roof on sight. Nobody cares. He should be murdered on sight. He, you know, he's a horrible, disgusting, I don't even want to call him a human. The man that went into the mosque was a horrible, disgusting human, and yet he still gets to see his day in court. That is what bothers me, because they take that right away from so many people. But this person gets the right. Stephon Clark, they didn't give him the right to have his day in court. You know, if he was burglarizing that house and they just brought him into custody, no one would be upset. You know, justice is justice, but that wasn't justice, that was murder, what they did to him. Yet, with these men who killed multiple people, who had no remorse, who committed a hate crime, who are terrorists, they get to live. I don't think that I'm just saying this right now, I don't think that any of these terrorists deserve to have rights. Once you kill people, you really took that right away from yourself. You really took that right away, and I think that something needs to be done in the justice system about this, because it's ridiculous. And even though I'm talking about a different country, I think the same kind of Western mindset applies. You know, I think that it's all the same, to be honest. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on that situation. My prayers have been going out to the victims, their families. Just my prayers have just been with the people in Christchurch. I think it's devastating. My prayers have just been with the Muslim community in general. Yes, it's horrific. It's hard to believe sometimes, and it's hard to fathom that humanity really can be that evil. Like, it's just hard to like wrap my head around it. I'm gonna go ahead and line my eyes with my eye liner. And now to just switch gears, I'm going to start talking about Kim Kardashian and her work in the justice system. I really have a lot of respect for her at the moment, because I think that, well, first let me just tell you what's going on with her. So she posted on Instagram a few nights ago, I think last night or the night before, that she's been working to get people out of prison, and she's gotten 2 people out of prison thus far, which I think is really great. They committed, I'm pretty sure that they committed like nonviolent crimes, and yet they were in prison for life, and she's gotten these people out, and it's just been this really great thing. And she's gotten Black people out, and she's focusing on like helping the Black community in that way, and I think that that's so special, and I think that that's so amazing. And you know, I really give a lot of props to her for that, for really caring that much. Now, with that being said, she also gave her support for Governor Newsom, and she said pretty much that she is happy that he outlawed the death penalty in California. Now, I remember last year, my senior year of high school, in my AP Gov class, we had a debate about the death penalty. Now, I have mixed feelings. I don't know if I want the death penalty to be outlawed. And here's a simple reason why, is because it's going back to these mass murderers. Do we want to have taxpayer money go to keep these people alive? I personally don't. I personally do not believe that they have the right to stay alive after they did what they did. I don't believe that people like Dylan Roof, I don't believe that people like the Parkland shooter, I do not believe that these people deserve to live. I don't. And while I understand the argument that there could be innocent people on death row, and I'm pretty positive that there have been innocent people that have been executed, at the same time, it's like, I think that death row should be a little more exclusive. I don't think that the death penalty should necessarily be outlawed, but I think it should be more exclusive. I think it should be exclusive for people who have committed mass murders. I think that would be, I don't think that anyone would be upset if like Dylan Roof got the death penalty. I think everyone will be like really happy, and I really hope he gets the death penalty if they have it in that state. I'm not sure. I think that people will be really happy if the Parkland shooter got the death penalty. I don't think that anyone will complain. But I also don't believe that the death penalty should be like, it should be a sentence that is taken lightly or given out. It should just be given out more exclusively. I don't think that it should just totally be outlawed, because I don't want my taxpayer money to go to keeping these people alive. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion on the death penalty, just my little thing, you know, take what you will from it. I don't want innocent people to like receive the death penalty, but I also don't want mass murderers to, you know, live off of taxpayer dollars. You know, they could be living off of the taxpayer dollars of the families of the victims. Like, that's just so warped. It's just not, to me, it's not fair. You know, it's just not fair that this person gets to live, but all of the people that they murdered had to die. That's just my opinion. I'm gonna go in with my Morphe bronzer, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about my last topic, which is much lighter topic. It's still like bad, but it's much lighter to me. I'm going to be talking about the college admissions scam. Yay! I have a lot of feelings. I have a lot of thoughts, and I just wanted to go ahead and just give my perspective as someone who just graduated, as someone who takes college very seriously. I'm not in college yet, but I will be in the fall, and I take this type of stuff really seriously. I take education very seriously, and when this came out, it was really funny to me. And here's why. So I was subscribed to Olivia Jade before this whole scandal, and I remember watching her videos and like getting into her. I actually liked the girl. I did find that she was pretty spoiled. I did find that, but to me, whenever I see someone that's spoiled, I don't really blame them for, you can't blame someone for being spoiled. Like, obviously their parents, you can blame their parents. Like, you can not like someone's parents because like, wow, you spoiled your kid. But when you grow up super rich like that, the way that she grew up, like, obviously she's gonna be spoiled. You know, she was just like this rich, pretty white girl, and you know, she can't control how she grew up. You know, people would love to be in her position if they could have. So I didn't knock her for that. And I remember like she would do these luxury Christmas hauls and just, you know, very privileged life. But who can blame her? No one can blame her for having a privileged life. But what I did notice about her that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way was Olivia and I are we're the same grade. We graduated the same year, and I remember in like the fall, beginning like the end of summer, when she I stopped kind of watching her because I wasn't really into her content anymore. And I remember seeing a video where she was like apologizing for statements that she made about only wanting to go to school for partying, you know, the infamous little video clip that everyone's been going around. Like, she didn't even care about college. Why did you let her in? Why did they pay all this money for a girl who doesn't even care about college? I saw the video where she was apologizing for it, and I was like, when she said, I'm going to a really good school, the first thing I thought was, oh, she's going to USC. I just knew it. USC has actually been coined University of Spoiled Children. And I thought, okay, yeah, she's a spoiled kid. She's going to USC. But I also thought, wow, you have to be pretty intelligent to go to USC, especially now. They have really high standards. USC has a really high average for their SAT scores for who gets in, and it's just a very, very competitive school, one of the best schools in the country. And I was thinking, man, she got into USC, man. Wow, she must be really intelligent. The thing is, she didn't seem that intelligent. Like, watching her videos, she doesn't seem like the type who really cares much about school. Well, she literally said she didn't care about school, so... But I was like, man, how did she get into USC? Like, that's competitive. That's a big deal. Like, wow, bravo to you, girl. I'm gonna take this shade as my highlighter. I just thought, wow, that's an accomplishment. And you know what I thought? I just thought, oh, wow, her parents used their connections and got her in. Using your connections to get your kids in has been something that everyone's known about, and that, is very unfair to kids whose parents don't have connections, but who might be way more qualified. But at the same time, I felt like, well, ooh, that's kind of blinding. I felt like, well, everyone knows about this, and it's not, to me, it wasn't as big a deal as fraud, which is basically what her parents did. Then, this whole scandal came out. And as soon as I saw Lori Loughlin, I guess that's how you say her name, Lori Loughlin, Aunt Becky, as soon as I saw her on the Shade Room, and they were saying, oh, she paid for her daughters to get into school, like when the story first broke, and I saw Lori Loughlin, the first thing that I thought was, I knew that girl didn't get into USC off merit and off of, really being qualified to get into USC. I knew it. I was telling myself, I knew it. There was no way that she got into USC because she was intelligent enough. You can sense when someone's intelligent enough. You can kind of sense it. And I'm pretty sure we all know that this was wrong, obviously. Like, it was funny when it came out. I'm glad that they're getting prosecuted, and I hope they get the book thrown at them, because honestly, this is something that not only affects, it affects a lot of other people. It affects a lot of innocent kids who really wanted to get into these schools, who actually worked hard, who had the GPAs, and who did the extracurriculars, and still were told, you're not good enough to get into this school, but this airhead is. That I hope they get the book thrown at them. I think that they should serve jail time, because honestly, they need to be made an example of. If you're going to do something like this, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you're still going to be treated like a common criminal, which is what they are. I think that that's great. I hope that they get jail time for it, honestly. And yeah, that's just, my feelings on them. But one thing that I would like to point out is, one thing that I really wanted to talk about on camera is how messed up these college admissions truly are, and how I think that affirmative action should definitely come back fully. I know that affirmative action has been banned in California. It's not a thing anymore, which honestly sucks. I think affirmative action was always a good policy, because you're giving a chance to kids who didn't even get an equal opportunity to have the same schooling that Lori Loughlin's daughter even had. Lori Loughlin's daughter went to a great school, a private Catholic school that you have to pay tuition to even go to. She went to that high school. She's probably had access to a whole bunch of tutors. She's probably had access to so much, SAT prep and all of these things. A lot of these kids' parents were already college educated. A lot of these kids, you know, were legacies, you know, but for affirmative action kids, it's like, they didn't even have the opportunity to have an equal math class as the other kids. I think for me, it's easy to see my privilege. I know I'm using two mascaras. Please don't like come for me. I like using two mascaras. But for me, I have really become aware of the privilege that I had to go to a really good school, a public school, a really, really good school. Honestly, the school that I went to, there we had this thing called the IB program, and you know, these kids that come out of that program are amazing, you know, and I felt like I got a really good education. I think I did. We had amazing teachers, and just teachers that really cared about us. There were things that we hated about the school, obviously, but in general, I will say that I went to a great school. And then you see kids that didn't go to great schools, you know, that didn't even get to have, their teachers don't care about them. If I'm going to be completely honest, they were disadvantaged from birth. So, you know, when it comes to college admissions, you know, we've been taught all our lives college will make or break you. College, you know, will give you that next step. And in some ways it will, you know, especially if you want to become a professional. But how can you take that opportunity away from kids who didn't even have the opportunity to have the same level of education to begin with? It's like they're always going to be disadvantaged. They're going to be disadvantaged, and then their kids are going to be disadvantaged, and it's just going to keep being this cycle of these people are down here and these people are up here, even though honestly a lot of people up here aren't even qualified for it, and a lot of people down here are qualified for it. I just think that it was so messed up that these kids that were paying their way to even get admitted to these schools, they, like, no one batted an eyelash to them being in the class. They were mad at the black kid for being in the class. They were mad at the non-athlete black kid in the class. I mean, right now, I'm pretty sure that there's a lawsuit at Harvard for letting in too many Asian kids. Like, these kids deserve it. These kids fully deserve it. I think, and I really, really hope that this whole scandal will make colleges want to accept more minorities into the schools, because they've been favoring these rich white kids like way too much, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm gonna use my Urban Decay All-Nighter spray. I got the travel size. Had to spray. I couldn't keep talking and not spray. Just in general, I hope that colleges take this and think, wow, like, we've been favoring all of these kids who need the least favor in the world, to be honest. If they don't get into USC, they're still gonna have millions of dollars, you know? They're still trust fund babies. So here are the lips. I forgot how much I like this. I forgot how like neon and like bright this shade is, because like the packaging doesn't do the shade justice. But I really like this shade. I think I need to wear it more. So that's it for this video. I know that I like went from like a really dark topic to like a more light topic, but they're all still really big issues that I think, you know, need to be taken seriously. And, you know, I'm just glad that with the college admission scandal, you know, that they're bringing these people to justice. Hopefully these people can't use their status and their money to then gain favor in the justice system. I hope that they get, you know, full justice. As far as like the death penalty, you know, that's just kind of my thoughts on that. And then with the mosque shooting in Christchurch, New Zealand, I just, if they have the death penalty, they don't have the death penalty out there, but really, what can we do other than pray for the victims and pray for the families and donate to the families and donate to the funerals or anything like that? But yeah, those are just my thoughts on everything. Go ahead and like this video if you did enjoy it. Go ahead and comment down below what you think about anything that I talked about. You know, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, why not? What you think of the look that I created. I think that the lips are a little too pink, so I think I might put a gloss over it, but I'm not sure. But I do like the lips like on their own. I do like just the rest of my face. So tell me what you think of that, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I post every single Wednesday and every single Friday. So yeah, that is it for me. I talked way too much in this video, and I hope that I can edit this down to a good amount, and I'm still talking right now, so I'm just gonna stop this video now. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!